Okay, let's see how this goes. Let's start. Let's see how long this is going to be. 20 minutes. It's going to be terrible. When you're rich, famous, or a see, already, immediately. When you're rich, famous, or a VIP, getting from point A to point B safely is a little more difficult than for the rest of us. Advanced security protocols are required to ensure safe passage. Here are the top 15 most advanced convoys. Number 15. Jeff Bezos. When you're the CEO or former CEO of one of the biggest companies in history and one of the richest people in the world, like it or not, you need security, and it certainly ain't coming cheap. Even without convoys or security detail, Jeff Bezos had bulletproof glass windows installed in his Seattle office. The glass is so thick that the panels can even withstand fire from a military-grade assault rifle. And after his phone was hacked, Bezos gave his head of security a blank check for the investigation. Even when Bezos was put on a movie set in 2016, he was accompanied by almost a dozen bodyguards and pulled up in 3 limousines. He spends a reported $1.6 million a year on private security, and his Jesus, what was that? Bacon repeating on me. He spends a reported $1.6 million a year on private security, and if his office windows are bulletproof, then there's no doubt in anyone's mind that his limos are any less safe. Unfortunately, Bezos has reached the point in his life and career where the prospect of traveling anywhere else alone is non-existent, and the same can be said for his current girlfriend, ex-wife, and their children. So the next time you see a convoy of unmarked limousines driving down the street, it could be just some kids going to their high school prom, or it could be the founder of Amazon. You never know. Number 14. Beyoncé and Jay-Z. The first family of hip-hop? Okay, well, the first family of hip-hop and probably one of the world's beloved and world-renowned, should be one of the world's most beloved. That's good script writing right there. Let's write that in there because, it sounds better that way. The first family, I'm going to just keep laughing. That's so silly to me. Oh, whatever. Okay. The first family of hip-hop and probably one of the world's most beloved and... What am I, English? The first family of hip-hop and probably one of the world's most beloved and world-renowned power couples obviously like to get around in style. But with so much of their lives made public and the dangers of both paparazzi and fans, they need a little help. When they're walking around in public, they're flanked by plenty of big security guards that can only be described as personal bouncers. But when they're on the road, they've got their own personal convoys. When their daughter, Blue Ivy, was born in a hospital in Manhattan's Upper East Side, they were greeted at the side gate in the cover of night by 2 black cars with fully tinted windows and a van to bring their baby home. But that wasn't all, because a line of black SUVs blocked street traffic for the new family so they could make a clean getaway. Then there's the convoy that drops off little Blue Ivy at school every day. The convoy is smaller this time around with 2 cars, 3 bodyguards, but not Beyoncé or Jay-Z. That is unless they're hiding out in the car. Needless to say, fellow parents and teachers aren't too thrilled about the near-presidential convoy of 5 mornings a week, but Blue Ivy's safety is all that matters. The family was even spirited away with a full police convoy of 4 bikes and 2 carriers when they arrived at the airport from a vacation to outmaneuver and outrun the paparazzi that waited for them. Number 13. Victoria and David Beckham. Victoria and her husband David Beckham have been through it all. Sure, their marriage has had its ups and downs. That's normal. But what's not normal were the countless death threats to kidnap their children, and even receiving bullets in the mail from anyone? And even receiving bullets in the mail from an anonymous... Why is that funny? And even receiving bullets in the mail from anonymous loons. So the famous parents have taken some serious measures to ensure everyone's safety. That includes a presidential-style convoy or motorcade just to take the kids to school. But David Beckham is brave enough to lead the pack in either his Phantom drophead coupe, which cost him well over $300,000, or his bulletproof Rolls-Royce. He'll often be spotted riding in style with the top down, but once the kids get in, that top comes right up. Then there are the 3 black SUVs with blacked-out windows following behind him, filled to the brim with big, tough security guards. Little ad-lib. And as much as he'd love to drive down the street like the rest of us, with everything the couple's been through, it's not just an option anymore. But with the Beckham convoy coming down the street, no one is getting to him or his beloved children. I have to pick a pronunciation of beloved. It's beloved or beloved? I guess either doesn't matter. Route. Number 12, Kim Kardashian. Back in 2016, Kim Kardashian had a pretty eye-opening and life-threatening experience when she was robbed at gunpoint in her Paris hotel. The perpetrator tied her up and went through all of her personal belongings that she brought with her on the trip, including about $10 million worth of jewelry. So it makes sense that after the incident, Kardashian upped her security a lot, because who wouldn't be shaken up after an experience like that? When she finally made it back to the United States in one piece, she was accompanied by a convoy of cars that would almost make a head of state jealous. She was accompanied by dozens of guards and a convoy of 8 intimidating black SUVs, and we're sure that whoever was inside of those is not to be trifled with. That includes her head bodyguard, Pascal Duvier. That includes her head bodyguard, Pascal Duvier, who always stands right next to his boss. Duvier is built like an 80s wrestler, and if you mess with that convoy, he's the first one you'll have to answer. Oh well, it's kind of silly. Number 11, Kendall Jenner. Being a celebrity can obviously come with a dash of danger, but it can also let you have a lot of fun. And lover or hater, Kendall Jenner knows how to party when the time is right. So when the pandemic hit, she wanted to make sure that her sister Kourtney had the best 41st birthday. Really, 40? She's 41? No. That can't be right. Kourtney Jenner. All right, pause. Pause everything. Now we got to go to Google and we got to look this up. How old is Kourtney? She is. Okay. All right. I guess I'm incredibly old. All right. I'm old. It's fine. All right. Let's go back here. Wow. So when the pandemic hit, she wanted to make sure that her sister Kourtney had the best 41st birthday humanly possible. There were 2 Rolls-Royces, Audis, luxury SUVs, and Range Rovers, just to name a few. But instead of being filled with security teams ready to take down paparazzi at a moment's notice, the fancy and expensive automobiles were filled with family and friends and decked out with all sorts of balloons and streamers. Passengers hung out of windows and sunroofs, and the drivers honked all the way down the street for what could have been the best birthday surprise of the year. That is, as long as you're not one of the neighbors. Number 10, Xi Jinping. Now that we've had our fun, we're going to talk about Winnie the Pooh. Okay. Now that we've had our fun, it's time to move into the more serious territory again. The president of China, Xi Jinping, has his own motorcade or convoy to keep him safe when he hits the road for major events and meetings with fellow heads of state. And while it may not be as luxurious as a Kardashian birthday party, it can be pretty intense nonetheless. He may not be driving a custom automobile like some other world leaders do, but it's still pretty pricey. Dozens of police drive by to present the convoy of unmarked black cars, but only one flies the 5-starred red flag or national flag of the People's Republic of China. The police are riding their is it Haozhui? Wow, Haozhui. All right, here we get to have a fun little pronunciation issue. Let's see. Haozhui. I think it's
Hallway.
See? Good old Google Translate. Huawei. I've never heard of that brand before. The police are riding their Haozhui. I've completely forgot already.
Hallway.
There we go. The police are riding their Huawei GW250J motorcycles, which are the Chinese equivalent of the BMX police bikes used in other countries. Can't be BMX. Has to be BMW. Has to be. Which are the Chinese equivalent of the BMW police bikes used in other countries. Each bike costs around 14 grand each. President Xi's car is the Hongqi L5, and it's sure the height of luxury. And it is the height of luxury when it comes to Chinese automobiles. In total, there are 5 on his convoy, adding up to a grand total of about $4 million. And that's not to mention the dozens of less flashy cars and vans carrying his security and cabinet, and even an ambulance, just in case. Now, should I go Vladimir or should I go Vladimir? That's the thing with pronunciations. Vladimir is more accurate to Russians, but Vladimir is more Western world. Goddamn pronunciations. Number 9. Vladimir Putin. Even though he may have fewer vehicles in his convoy, Vladimir Putin's motorcade is one of the more expensive. But just because there aren't as many cars accompanying him doesn't mean it's any less impressive. Putin rides around in a custom-built automobile, the RS Senat. And I will say that technically that's spelled incorrectly. It's actually Senat, but that's fine. It was designed specifically for the president by the engineering teams at Porsche and Central Scientific Research Automobile and Automotive Engines Institute, or NEMI for short. The RS Senat weighs in at a whopping 6 tons, and it's an insane 23 feet long. There's plenty of room for Putin, his friends, colleagues, and of course, personal bodyguards and the Russian Secret Service. The car is equipped with an extensive amount of security features, which, unfortunately for the rest of us, the Russian government keeps a tightly guarded secret. The Senat is powered by a 4.4-liter V8 engine and can even serve as an off-road vehicle if the need arises, and costs about $10 million. You can get a mansion for that much. It is the perfect car for a presidential pursuit, and each vehicle on its own cost over $140,000. Finally, there's the police detail of just 6 motorcycles to clear the roads and monitor the crowds. It may not be the most elaborate convoy in the world, but the cars are definitely fit enough for a Fast and Furious cameo. It's got to be Fast and Furious, because I know it's Fast and the Furious, but come on. But the cars are definitely fit enough for a Fast and Furious cameo. Number 8. Theresa May. Former British Prime Minister Theresa May is one of the few heads of state to bring the cost of their personal convoy car? That seems weird to me. Grammar. Former British Prime Minister Theresa May is one of the few heads of state to bring the cost of their personal convoy car to less than $1 million. But that doesn't mean she skimped out, because she was still riding in a Jaguar XJ Sentinel. But this isn't the Jaguar you can just drive right off the lot. Theresa May's Jaguar was designed just for her and outfitted with Kevlar backing and blast protection. Despite the heavy weight from the bulletproof materials, the car could still reach speeds of over 120 miles an hour, making it a safe yet perfect getaway, God forbid the situation gets out of hand. The former Prime Minister's car probably felt more appropriate carrying around the likes of James Bond than it did a head of state. But then again, she was the top VIP of the country at that time. The sleek tank that is the Jaguar XJ Sentinel only cost her about $310,000. And then there's the rest of the convoy in tow. She's followed by 3 Range Rover Sports, which cost a total of about $225,000. These Range Rovers carry around not only her fellow colleagues and staff members, but also plenty of security. The Range Rover is a British car and royalty in its own right, not to mention fast and stylish. Following the Range Rovers in the convoy are 4 2016 BMW R1200 RTP motorcycles. The Brits really do know how to do it, seeing as how they practically invented the class. The police ride on the BMWs to scout her path ahead of time and to keep the roads clear of any crowd members that might be getting a little too crazy. All 4 BMWs are running up a total bill of about 60 grand. All 4 BMWs run up a total bill of about 60 grand. The Prime Minister's convoy is a prime example that you can keep things safe and luxurious and still use the taxpayers' money wisely. Number 7, Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel. I'm just going to say it. Angela Merkel. Next on our list is another budget motorcade, and this one is even cheaper than Theresa May's, but still advanced and luxurious and exemplifies the progress made in German automobile engineering. Germany's Chancellor, Angela Merkel. Really? Genla? Really? This guy, did he not check his... He didn't check his spelling. Germany's Chancellor, Angela Merkel, is being escorted in her convoy in a $125,000 Audi 8. Is that R8, A8, S8? It's got to be an A8. It's got to be an A8. Now I have to look that up. God damn it. Let's Google it. Yeah, it is an A8. Germany's Chancellor, Angela Merkel, is being escorted in her convoy in a $125,000 Audi A8. It comes equipped with plenty of security features. It comes equipped with plenty of secret security features, but one that has been made public is the state-of-the-art bulletproof glass that is almost unnoticeable from the inside. So Merkel is staying safe and stylish all at the same time. She's being followed by lots of different vehicles in her convoy, but one that really stands out is the BMW 5 Series and costs around $40,000. The rest of Chancellor Merkel's entourage can get in one of 3 Mercedes 5. I don't remember V-Class. I don't know about Mercedes V-Class. Okay, I guess it's a minivan. Okay, that's why I don't know it. The rest of Chancellor Merkel's entourage can get in one of 3 Mercedes V-Class vans that run the cabin at over $150,000 in total. The Mercedes V-Class holds up to 7 people at a time, so her staff and security detail have plenty of room to hop out and come to her rescue. Plus, the Mercedes V-Class is keeping up with the times and is engineered to leave behind a smaller carbon footprint. Number 6, Justin Trudeau. Canada's premier Wait, he's the Prime Minister. He's not a premier, is he? Let's find out. Yeah, he's the Prime Minister. What? Premier? So this is yet another lack of, I don't want to say fact-checking, but just, come on, go through your shit before you write it. Canada's Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, likes to come off as a man of the people, so the vehicles in his convoy are on the more modest and cost-effective side. He even rides around in the same car as the majority of his motorcade. The convoy is comprised first of 4 Chevrolet Suburbans, soccer mom cars. Altogether, the soccer mom fleet cost about $200,000, but their sleek black look does make them look pretty cool when they're coming down the street to an event in single file. They may not be the most expensive cars in the world, but they still look like someone important is inside. And because Prime Minister Trudeau is a liberal leader, every car in his convoy is up to date and has reduced carbon emissions. Every now and then, though, you will find a few limousines and Cadillacs thrown into the mix, but the choice is ultimately up to his head of security. But what about the convoy's police vehicles? Wherever Trudeau goes, he's happy to employ the local police force to be part of his earth-friendly motorcade. Number 5, Mukesh Ambani. Billionaire businessman Mukesh Ambani is the richest person not only in his country of India, but all of Asia. So there's no doubt that everyone wants a piece of him when he steps outside. Obviously, someone with that much money owns plenty of fancy cars, but in this case, each and every one is bulletproof. That includes his Bentley, Mercedes-Benz S600 Guard, and BMW X5. But this is another person who can't roam the streets safely like the rest of us. That's why he never leaves home without his own personal convoy. Included in that is a new white Range Rover Rogue, complete with police stickers and strobe lights on the top, so the authorities are with him just about wherever he goes. And of course, the Range Rover's police lights are always on to clear the road ahead, so Ambani can drive in peace. Every car in Ambani's convoy is painted a bright... Let me scroll a little bit because I can't read. Every car in Ambani's convoy is painted a bright and clean white, It used to be that Mukesh's security detail would use their own cars, but it looks like he would rather they don't trade safety, security, and an all-around looking fly. Whoops. That's a tough sentence. A lot of commas. It used to be that Mukesh's security detail would use their own cars, but it looks like he would rather they don't trade safety, security, and an all-around look. But it looks like he would rather they don't trade safety, security, and all-around looking fly for cost-effective vehicles. Good old commas. Number 4. Elon Musk. Easily one of the most eccentric billionaires in history, Elon Musk is another VIP who may have a hard time going to the corner store for some milk in peace. The Tesla CEO doesn't disclose how much money he spends annually on security costs, but for someone who just created and sold flamethrowers to the public, there's no way his convoy isn't just as high-tech. But Musk doesn't need a convoy of limousines, because the cars that he and his company produce are seriously next level when it comes to safety and durability. If anyone sees anything suspicious, the place can be secured in a matter of minutes, maybe even by some guys with flamethrowers. Elon Musk's Tesla cars also have a GPS tracking device installed that Tesla has full access to, so in the event that Musk is taken while in one of his cars, his people will know where he is at all times and be ready to intercept. But the cars also come with a remote disabling system that will literally stop the car in its tracks. Musk has also been seen about town in his Cybertruck with an exterior shell that is allegedly able to withstand high-impact car crashes and is totally bulletproof with its armored glass. His security guards have also found a loophole in the legal system that allows them to carry concealed firearms. Nothing is cooler or safer than a convoy of Tesla cars. I beg to differ, but that's just me. Number 3. Mark Zuckerberg. One of the top 10 richest people in the world is none other than the founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. The man may have changed the world and the way we interact with each other, but he's also gained some notoriety over the years, which is why he needs perhaps more security than usual. The Facebook CEO spends about $20,000 a day on his private security detail, or over $7 million a year. That is pretty intense. But when he's going from point A to point B, there is no way he's doing it alone. Before the convoy even comes in, there's a route car and the sweepers to make sure the route is even safe enough for Zuckerberg to travel on. Then when everything's ready, he's pulling up, like many others, in a convoy of black SUVs, all with the windows tinted. No one watching from the sideline is going to know where the tech billionaire is sitting. The man has received an increasing number of serious threats over the years, so he's contracted a private company to make sure he's kept safe. There's even one famous story of an Ohio resident who received a strange phone call saying someone was coming to his home for dinner in a few days, but the security team needed to make sure the home was clear and safe for his mystery guest. Cut to a few days later, and the infamous convoy of black SUVs pulled into his driveway, only for Mark Zuckerberg to get out, followed by his bodyguards. Talk about an entrance. Number 2. Kim Jong Un. Kim Jong Un is without a doubt a controversial figure, but he's got a convoy with him just about wherever he goes and is worth a mention on this list nonetheless. And while it's highly unlikely that anyone would ever make an attempt on the leader of North Korea, he's still got to have security. Kim Jong Un's black limousine sports the nation's flag and allegedly even houses a private toilet. But that's not what makes the convoy so unique. He's surrounded by what's known as the main office of adjutants, men in black suits and great shape who jog around the limo. I hate when he puts "you heard that," right? Okay, that's fine. They've been handpicked by the leader not just for their fitness, but for their marksmanship, martial arts skills, and yes, even looks. Recruits tend to come from elite North Korean families, but the premier will run background checks that go 2 families back on the young hopefuls. Should be generations. They have a policy of that, generations, where if you fuck something up, they go back 2 generations. Yeah. But the premier will run background checks that go 2 generations back on the young hopefuls. In the end, there are about 200 to 300 members of the main office of adjutants, but only 12 get to act as human shields in this unorthodox... But only 12 get to act as human shields in his unorthodox convoy. Unorthodoxed? That's fine. Number 1. The U.S. President. Who else would hold the top spot other than arguably the most important person in the world? The configuration is almost boiled to a science. What? That doesn't make any sense to me. Is that an expression elsewhere in the world? The configuration is almost boiled to a science? I'm going to say down to a science, because I don't know what boiled, that doesn't sound right to me, but whatever. It could be an expression elsewhere. The configuration is almost down to a science and generally consists of 40 to 50 vehicles at a time, in addition to the president. That doesn't sound, see, this is poor writing here. 40 to 50 vehicles in addition to the president, because he's a vehicle. I know there's a shit ton of vehicles, but I don't, you know what? Fine. The configuration is almost down to a science and generally consists of 40 to 50 vehicles at a time, in addition to the president's vehicle. The motorcade includes their family, friends, staff members, and even members of the press. The VIPs travel in specifically configured limousines, and most of the vehicles are armored and bulletproof. The convoy will also have a special Suburban armed with countermeasures in the event of an assassination attempt. Then there are the vehicles operated by a counter-assault team and, of course, the Secret Service agents. There's even a hazardous materials team on standby. Then there's the police driving cars, vans, and motorcycles that drive ahead of the 40-something car convoy to clear a path. Should things go awry, the convoy will split into two units, the first being the secure package, which is heavily guarded by the Secret Service and local law enforcement, and all cars are driven by professional drivers who have been trained in evasive maneuvers. While we certainly hope that anything bad never happens, it sounds like it could make for a solid action movie. Weird, and we're not going to do the outro because the outro is terrible. Yeah, that whole thing was weird, but yeah, that's how long, what are we in? 30 minutes? That's 30 minutes of me screwing around. What do we got? That was 30 minutes to do what will be boiled down to about, come to think of it, wow, that's going to be a long one. I mean, I know I have a lot of bullshit in there, but I'll probably get this down to 22 minutes probably, if that. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to edit today. We're just going to show you the recording process. But thanks for hanging out with me while I do that. I'm going to make another one showing the editing process of these top 10 or these top 15 videos. But you get an idea about what it looks like when I'm just recording one pretty much raw, because that was a cold, I had a glance at it, but that was pretty much a cold read on most of them. But thanks for hanging out, and we're going to end it there. See ya.